What if music was not invented for pleasure? What if the first song was not created because someone wanted to be entertained, but because someone was afraid? Before cities, before writing, before kings, before temples, before anyone could press play, there was rhythm, a foot hitting the ground, a hand striking stone, a voice rising in the dark, a mother humming to a child who could not sleep, a group of hunters breathing together before walking into danger, a circle of people sitting near fire, listening to the night. We usually think of music as something extra, something we add to life, a playlist for work, a beat for the gym, a song for the drive home, a sad track after someone leaves, a background sound to make silence feel less empty. But for ancient humans, music may not have been background at all. It may have been one of the first tools we ever made. Not a tool made of stone, not a blade, not a spear, not a wheel, but a tool made of breath, memory, fear, and pattern. Music may have been one of humanity's first ways of saying, "We are still here, we are still together. The dark has not taken us yet," and maybe that is why music still has power over us. Because when a song moves you, when it makes your chest tighten, when it brings back a person you lost, when it makes you feel brave for reasons you cannot explain, you are not just hearing sound. You are hearing something older than civilization, something older than the language in your head, something that began before humans fully understood themselves. To understand how ancient humans created music, we have to forget almost everything modern life has taught us about music. Forget the stage, forget the microphone, forget the celebrity, forget the album, forget the streaming app, forget the idea that music is something performed by one person while everyone else listens. For most of human history, music was not a product, it was not a brand, it was not content, it was not background noise, it was an event. It happened between people. It happened around fire. It happened in bodies, in hands, in feet, in breath, in the nervous system, in fear, in grief, in the need to belong. Today, when we hear the word music, we imagine songs. We imagine melody. We imagine instruments. We imagine a person choosing notes on purpose. But ancient music may have started before melody, before instruments, before anyone had a word for song. It may have started with rhythm. And rhythm is not rare. Rhythm is everywhere. The heart beats. The lungs rise and fall. Feet repeat when we walk. Hands repeat when we work. Rain repeats on leaves. Waves repeat on stone. Birds call in patterns. Crickets pulse in the night. Thunder arrives, disappears, and returns. The world has always been full of sound. But sound is not music by itself. The deeper question is this: when did humans stop only hearing noise and start hearing pattern? Because that moment may be the birth of music. Imagine an ancient human standing in darkness. No streetlights, no doors, no walls, no locked windows, no police, no hospital, no phone, no map, only night, only fire, only the fragile safety of the group. Outside the firelight, the world is alive. Branches crack, animals move, wind pushes through grass, something calls from far away, something answers. The human body reacts before the mind explains. The heart speeds up, the skin tightens, the breath becomes shallow, the eyes search, the ears open. In that world, listening was survival. A sound could mean food. A sound could mean danger. A sound could mean weather changing. A sound could mean someone from the tribe was coming back, or not coming back. Ancient humans could not afford to ignore sound. They had to listen for difference, for repetition, for rhythm, for the strange pattern that tells the brain, something is there. Something is moving. Something is coming. And over time, the human brain became a pattern-hunting machine. It searched for order inside chaos. It learned that repeated sound could mean safety, or warning, or coordination, or memory. And once a creature learns to hear pattern, it can begin to make pattern. A hand taps stone, once, then again, a foot hits the ground. One body follows, then another, a voice rises, another voice copies it. A short sound becomes a repeated sound becomes a shared sound, and a shared sound becomes something more powerful than noise. It becomes rhythm. And rhythm does something strange to humans. They pull separate bodies into one time. One person claps, another joins, one person walks, another mashes the step, one person hums, another finds the same pitch. For a moment, the group stops being a collection of separate nervous systems. It becomes one moving pattern. This is not a small thing, because ancient humans survived in groups. Alone, a human was weak. No claws, no thick fur, no great speed, no natural armor. The human alone at night was vulnerable, but a group could hunt, a group could protect children, a group could share food, a group could remember where water was, A group could bury the dead. A group could carry knowledge across generations. So anything that made the group stronger mattered. Anything that made people move together mattered. Anything that made people feel together mattered. And music does exactly that. It synchronizes. It brings bodies into shared time. It makes many people feel one pulse. That may be one of music's oldest powers. Not expression, not entertainment, synchronization. A tribe that can move together can work together. A tribe that can chant together can prepare together. A tribe that can dance together can trust together. A tribe that can sing together can remember together. And this may be why music appears so deeply connected to ritual. Not because ancient people were primitive, but because they understood something modern people often forget. A group needs more than information. A group needs emotion moving in the same direction. You can tell people they belong, but when they sing together, they feel it. You can tell people to be brave, but when they chant together, courage enters the body. You can tell people someone has died, but when they mourn together, grief becomes bearable. Music takes what is invisible's fear, sorrow, hope, loyalty, and gives it a shape, a sound, a rhythm, a place to go. That may be why ancient music was probably not separate from life. It may have been inside work, inside hunting, inside healing, inside parenting, inside death, inside ceremony, inside the seasons, inside the body. Modern people often divide life into categories. Work is work, religion is religion, art is art, entertainment is entertainment. But ancient humans may not have lived with those clean divisions. A chant could be work, a dance could be prayer, a rhythm could be memory, a song could be medicine, a drumbeat could be courage, a lullaby could be survival. Think about the lullaby. It seems simple, a soft voice, a repeated melody, a child beheld. But underneath it, something profound is happening. A child enters the world with a nervous system that does not yet know how to calm itself. The world is too bright, too cold, too loud, too large. The child cannot understand language. It cannot understand explanations. You cannot reason with an infant, but you can use rhythm. You can rock. You can hum. You can repeat. You can make your voice soft and predictable. And the child's body begins to understand. The message is not in the words. The message is in the pattern. You are safe. I am here. Nothing is attacking you right now. Sleep. A lullaby is not just a song. It is emotional regulation. It is one nervous system calming another. And that may reach far back into human history. Long before written language, human voices were already shaping the emotional world of children. Before a child understood meaning, it understood tone. Before it understood speech, it understood rhythm. Maybe that's one reason music still feels so personal. Because the first music many humans ever hear is not on a stage. It is not impressive. It is not complex. It is someone's voice trying to make the world less frightening. Now imagine another scene. Not a child. A group of adults. They are preparing to hunt. They know danger is waiting. The animal is stronger. The forest is unpredictable. Someone may not return. Fear spreads through the group. Fear can help. It sharpens the senses, but too much fear breaks coordination. A terrified person freezes. A panicked group falls apart. So the group needs something. A repeated sound. A stomp. A chant. A breath. A rhythm that says, move together. Stay together. Do not run too soon. Do not break. Do not become alone. The rhythm does not remove fear. It organizes it. That is one of the deepest things music can do. It does not always erase emotion. It gives emotion a container. Grief becomes song. Fear becomes chant. Energy becomes dance. Memory becomes melody. Loneliness becomes a voice reaching outward. Without music, the body may keep too much inside. Too much fear. Too much loss. Too much longing. Too much tension. But sound lets the invisible leave the body without destroying it. A cry becomes a tone becomes a phrase becomes a song, and suddenly pain is not only pain, it has form, it can be shared. Someone else can hear it. Someone else can answer. This may be why music is so closely tied to mourning. Across cultures, people sing for the dead. They chant, they drum, they hum, they gather. Why? Because death creates a problem language cannot fully solve. When someone dies, ordinary speech feels too small. What can you say? They are gone. We miss them. We love them. The words are true, but they are not enough. Grief is larger than explanation. So humans reach for sound, a slow rhythm, a repeated phrase, a voice that trembles, a group that joins. Music does not bring the dead back, but it allows the living to remain together in the presence of absence. It turns loss into a shared space, and for ancient humans, that mattered, because grief could weaken a group. A death was not only personal, it was practical. A hunter lost, A mother lost, a memory keeper lost, a protector lost, a child lost. Every death changed the tribe. Music may have helped people pass through that change without breaking. This is the human cost of not having rhythm. Without rhythm, fear isolates. Without shared sound, grief becomes private weight. Without ritual, memory fades. Without synchronized movement, the group becomes separate bodies under pressure. And separate bodies are easier to break. This is why music may have been part of human survival. Not because it gave food directly. Not because it killed predators. Not because it built shelters. But because it helped build something more fragile. The human group. And the human group was our real shelter. The first home was not only a cave. It was other people. A face near the fire. A hand reaching back. A voice you recognized in the dark. A rhythm that told you, you are not outside the circle. You are inside. You belong. Belonging is not a small emotional luxury. For ancient humans, belonging could mean life or death. To be rejected from the group was dangerous. To be separated from the group was terrifying. To be forgotten by the group was almost a kind of death before death. So humans develop powerful systems for belonging. Shared stories, shared rituals, shared symbols, shared food, shared danger, and shared music. Music may have helped answer one of the oldest human questions. Are you with us? When people move together, the answer becomes visible. When people sing together, the answer becomes audible. When people keep rhythm together, the body feels what the mind wants to know. We are together. This may also explain why music can create identity. A tribe's rhythm is not just sound. It can become a border. This is us. That is not us. Our chant, our dance, our ceremony, our memory, our dead, our fire. Music can connect people inside a group, but it can also separate one group from another. That is one of its darker powers. The same force that creates belonging can also create division. A song can comfort, but it can also mark outsiders. A chant can create courage, but it can also create aggression. A rhythm can unite a community, but it can also make individuals disappear inside the crowd. This is why music is powerful. It does not only decorate emotion, it moves emotion, and anything that moves emotion can be used for love or control, for healing or war, for memory or manipulation. Ancient humans may not have explained it this way. They did not need modern psychology. They did not need neuroscience. They knew by experience. A certain rhythm changed the group. A certain chant prepared the body. A certain song made children sleep. A certain sound made grief easier. A certain dance made people feel close again. They may not have asked, "What is music?" They may have asked something simpler. Does this help us endure? Does this bring us together? Does this make the invisible world feel less chaotic? And the answer must have been yes, because music stayed, across time, across continents, across cultures, across every kind of human life. Wherever humans went, sound followed. Rhythm followed, voice followed. Some groups used drums, some used flutes, some used clapping, some used rattles, some used stones, some used shells, some used bones, some used the body itself. The materials change, but the need remain. And when we look at ancient instruments, something feels almost haunting. A bone flute, a hollow reed, a carved object with holes, a stone that rings when struck. These objects tell us something. Not just that ancient humans had tools, but that they had inner worlds. They were not only surviving, they were listening, they were shaping sound, they were experimenting with breath, they were noticing that a hollow object could sing, they were discovering that the world could be played. This is an extraordinary idea. A bone is not naturally a flute. To most animals, a bone is just a bone. Food remains, a hard object, something left after death. But a human sees a bone, aches holes, raises it to the mouth, breathes into it, and hears something that was not there before. That is not just invention. That is transformation. The dead material becomes living sound. An object from the body of an animal becomes a voice. The thing becomes a channel. Silence becomes tone. This may be one of the most human acts imaginable, to take the world as it is and make it mean more. A stone becomes a blade. A wall becomes a painting. A bone becomes a flute. A fire becomes a gathering place. A sound becomes a song. Humans are creatures that turn matter into meaning, and music may be one of the oldest examples of that. But maybe music began even before instruments. Maybe instruments came later. Maybe the first music was simply the body noticing itself. The pulse, the breath, the step, the cry, the hum, the clap, the stomp, the repeated movement of work. Imagine people grinding seeds, scripting hides, tearing wood, paddling water, pulling heavy objects. Work has rhythm because bodies need efficiency. If people pull at different times, effort is wasted. If they pull together, the work becomes easier. So rhythm becomes practical. A song helps people move together. A chant helps people endure repetition. A beat turns labor into coordination. And something else happens. The work feels less lonely. The body is still tired. The task is still hard, but now the hardship has a pulse. This is one reason work songs appear in many human cultures. The rhythm does not remove the burden. It helps people carry it together. That idea matters far beyond ancient life. Even today, humans use music to survive repetition. People listen while working, while exercising, while cleaning, while driving, while studying. Why? Because rhythm changes the feeling of effort. It gives time a shape. It makes the body feel accompanied. It turns repetitive action into something the mind can tolerate. Modern playlists may seem far from ancient work songs, but underneath, the mechanism may be similar. A person alone at a desk, using rhythm to endure pressure. A runner using a beat to keep moving. A worker using music to make time pass. A heartbroken person replaying a song because silence is too heavy. We are not as modern as we think. The tools change. The need did not. This is the hidden thread. Ancient music was not just made by people long ago. It is still happening inside us. Every time sound helps us regulate emotion. Every time rhythm helps us move. Every time melody helps us remember. Every time a song makes loneliness feel shared. We are using an ancient technology, one built into the body, one older than the screen, older than the city, older than the marketplace, older than the idea of the individual standing alone. But there is another layer. Music may have helped humans communicate before language could do everything. Language is powerful. It can name objects, give instructions, tell stories, make plans, warn others. But language has limits, especially with emotion. You can say, "I'm afraid," but the sound of fear in your voice says more. You can say, "I love you," but tone carries the truth. You can say, "Stay close," but a repeated chant can make bodies stay close. Before complex language, vocal sound may have carried emotion in ways that mattered deeply. A sharp cry, a soothing hum, a rising call, a repeated phrase, a group response. Maybe music and language grew near each other. Not as enemies, not as separate inventions, but as relatives. Speech carries meaning. Music carries feeling. Speech points to the world. Music changes the state of the body. Humans needed both. A warning must be understood, but fear must also be managed. A story must be remembered, but memory must also be felt. A child must learn words, but before words, it must feel safe enough to listen. So music may have lived in the space between body and language, between emotion and meaning, between animal call and human story, between instinct and culture. This is why music can feel like it says something even without words. A melody can feel sad. A rhythm can feel urgent. A drone can feel sacred. A sudden silence can feel frightening. A rising sound can feel hopeful. No one has to explain it. The body understands first. The mind follows later. And maybe that is because music reaches parts of us older than our explanations. A song can pass through the defenses of the modern self. The mask, the schedule, the status, the performance, the person we pretend to be. It can reach the child, the memory, the wound, the ancient listener inside the body. That is why a song from years ago can bring back a whole room, a smell, a person, a season, a version of yourself you thought was gone. Music attaches itself to memory because memory is not only information. Memory is emotional time, and music is organized time. So when the two meet, they bind. A melody can become a container for a life period. A rhythm can hold a place. A voice can hold a person. A song can become a doorway. This may also go back to ancient life. Before writing, memory had to live in bodies, in stories, in repetition, in rhythm. If something needed to be remembered, rhythm helped. Words arranged with rhythm are easier to recall. Movements repeated in ceremony are easier to pass down. Stories with patterns survive longer. The human mind remembers pattern. So music may have helped preserve knowledge. 9 books. But in people, a rhythm could carry a story. A chant could carry a warning. A song could carry a map. A ceremony could carry a history. This is another reason music mattered. They help memory survive death. One person dies, but the song remains. Another person learns it. Then another. Then another. The individual disappears. The pattern continues. That is culture. Culture is not only what people know. It is what can be repeated after they are gone. And music is repetition with feeling. So music may have been one of culture's earliest engines. A way to send emotion through time. A way for the dead to keep speaking through the living. a way for a tribe to remember who it was. And maybe this is why music so often feels haunted. Not haunted in a horror sense, but haunted by memory. The song always feels like it comes from somewhere. Even when it is new, it seems to carry traces of bodies moving, of voices before us, of fires we never saw, of griefs we never lived, of hopes we inherited. When you hear a drum, something in the body recognizes it. When you hear a human voice singing alone, something in the body leans closer. When many voices sing together, something in the body understands tribe. Even if you are sitting alone in a modern apartment, even if the sound comes through headphones, even if the fire is gone, the pattern remains. Now we have to ask, why did humans create instruments? If the body already had rhythm, if the voice could already sing, why make flutes, drums, rattles, and strings? Maybe because humans are not satisfied with what nature gives directly. We extend ourselves. The hand becomes a tool. The eye becomes a drawing. The memory becomes a mark. The voice becomes a flute. An instrument is a body outside body. A drum extends the heartbeat. A flute extends the breath. A rattle extends movement. A string extends tension. Every instrument takes something human and places it into the world. The drum says, here is the pulse, louder than one chest. The flute says, here is breath, shaped beyond the mouth. The rattle says, here is movement, made audible. The string says, here is tension, vibrating in air. Instruments allowed humans to make the inner world external. And once sound exists outside the body, it can be shared more easily. They can fill space. They can lead movement. They can call people. They can mark a moment as different from ordinary time. That matters, because humans need ways to say, this moment is not like other moments. This is a birth. This is a death. This is a hunt. This is a return. This is a union. This is a warning. This is a night we must remember. Music changes the frame around time. It makes ordinary time feel special. Ritual time, sacred time, group time, memory time. Even today, we do this. We play music at weddings, at funerals, at sports events, at religious gatherings, at protests, at parties, at graduations, at moments when ordinary speech is not enough. We use music to mark transition, to say, something is changing, someone is leaving, someone is arriving, we are becoming different now. Ancient humans likely needed this even more, because their world was uncertain. The seasons changed, animals migrated, food disappeared, children were born, people died, storms came, fire went out, groups moved. Nothing was guaranteed. Music may have helped humans pass through uncertainty. It gave structure to change. A beat says, there is order. A chant says, there is continuity. A song says, this moment belongs inside a larger story.